This is the Impulsive Thinker Podcast, a show for high-achieving ADHD entrepreneurs. Together, we will inform and educate you about how to improve your self-awareness while developing systems, routines, and habits for conquering the entrepreneurial world. Here is your host, André Brisson.
Hey there, it's André, the Impulsive Thinker. I wanted to share with you a conversation I had with my oldest daughter. She was recently diagnosed after a long time with some challenges with the medical world, which I'll go with another day. But she was diagnosed and she was put on stimulants, and she's got a little more clarity. And since she noticed, it's almost as if the stimulus was giving her now opened her eyes to the possibility and got her to think more. Like, she's also gifted, so she's always pondering and thinking. And she came up to me one day, and it was a fantastic question. I just love it when my kids are thinking. They come and ask these very intellectual questions because they were thinking about it. And she asked me, do you have to be doing something all the time? And my first immediate reaction was, oh my God, she's, what did she observe? What she's, being a bad dad. I'm always doing something, but not necessarily with them all the time. And I asked her to clarify because, is that something you see in me? And she goes, yeah, I do. But I also see that in me, that I always need to do something, and is that ADHD? And I said, I think so. It is an ADHD thing, because when she said that, you know how our brains just go 200 miles an hour, put a lot of other dots together that I didn't put together before. And I always need to do something. And if I'm not doing something, I get bored. And when I get bored, that's when my impulsivity takes over and causes problems, just like my oldest daughter. So I learned a long time ago subconsciously that I always need to be doing something. That's why it's so many different hobbies. I actually got into reading. So I'm always reading, doing something, learning something, or piddling around, or fixing something, or just doing a bunch of menial tasks just to be physically doing something. Because if I'm not physically doing something, or mentally doing something, or sitting there being bored doing nothing, I go insane. And COVID really hit, and this is where I kind of made a bit of a realization. COVID forced me to not to be able to do anything, not to go out, not to do things. And it got me into it, internalized my hyperactivity, internalized my mental hyperactivity. And I became lazy. I became lethargic, is probably a better word. I started losing energy, depressive almost, not wanting to do things. And it became a habit. Then I decided, no, this has got to stop. I got to keep moving. Go back to the gym, always reading. And like John Workington said in one of the first few episodes that we had of The Impulsive Thinker, instead of overworking at work, he actually went home and redefined productivity. And that was part of his productivity, because he said he needs to be producing. He's always got to be doing something. And that's very true for a lot of us ADHD entrepreneurs. Now, the physically hyperactive ADHD people, that's more in a physical sense, motion, moving. The inattentive ADHD people, it's going to be more of a mental, more internalized, mind-related stuff. So what John was doing is going home, and he redefined production away from work. To him for a long time, and I think for a lot of us, we're only productive when we're at work, but we never carry that over to the home. You know what? Doing boring chores, that is productive. And what really hit me with his conversation was he started to start reading again, and he determined and he decided that reading is productive. So he reframed that. So now reading, he's doing something. He's not doing nothing. And that's the important thing with the ADHD thing is we're always told we do too much. As an entrepreneur, you're working too fast, or, as a worker or anything you get involved with, charity-wise, volunteer-wise, slow down. Stop doing so much. But I think it's hard. I can do a little less. I can do it slower, but not at a snail's pace. And I need a lot of stuff to come at me. And if we're going to get something done, we're going to get done now, no breaks or whatever. That happened the other day. I did 7 hours straight of yard work without a break. But we need to keep doing something or we get bored. And then that's when we fall into the maladaptive strategies of not overcoming the boredom, becoming lethargic, becoming depressive because we're not doing anything. We're fighting against ourselves from doing things in motion. So I guess in the end with the conversation with my daughter was, it's okay that you need to do something at all time. Your friends are not going to quite understand that. A lot of people are going to misunderstand that as you wanting to make other people look bad or being over competitive or being too ambitious. And as I was saying these things to her, it was all this is all coming back to me. These are all things that were told to me by friends, family, coworkers, even other entrepreneurs or business people, as I'll call them. Stop doing so much. The thing is, physically, I can't. Mentally, I can't. I go into a bad zone. I go to a bad place when that happens. Just like everyone tells you, relax, relax. You know what? I physically can't. I'm a hyperactive ADHD male. I physically cannot relax. All I can do is find more calm. I'm doing things a lot slower. Slower in the sense that I still do decide if I'm going to do work or do something, I go and do it head down, ass up, fast. But I put more time in between on when I'm going to do it. I'm actually going home and not working on stuff. I'm reading more. I'm playing Legos more. I'm playing cards with my kids. I'm building things in the workshop. Now that's more of the self-care, but I still need to do something. I still need to wake up in the day and have these minimum things I'm going to get done and I'm going to get done. Then I can do other things. I cannot get up and just say, I'm going to do nothing today. Now, every once in a while that happens, or it'll accidentally happen where some days I just got to sit and watch TV. And turn my head off and give me special permission to do that. But it's not frequently, because if I do that, then it becomes a bad habit and I'll be 6 months down the road. I've done nothing and all I did was watch TV. So I got to be careful so I don't fall back in those maladaptive strategies and maladaptive habits. I got to keep moving. Our brains need to keep moving. And we're told over and over again, stop being so ambitious. Stop doing things so quickly. Stop doing things so much. Take a break, relax. In reality, I don't think we can. Our brains are not wired that way. And I think that's where a lot of people fall into the trap where they do get depressive. They do find they don't have energy. And once you get into that low energy mode, it's very, very hard to get motivated to engage into things. And when you get into those times and spaces, we're all going to go in those spaces. We're always going to fall into that trap. Question is how long I'm going to be into it. And for me, every time to get out of those traps is to just do one little thing different every day. Then the next day becomes a bigger step. Go to the gym just for 10 minutes. Go to the gym for 20, then a half hour, then an hour. Every day, a little bit more. And then you're going to get in that thing. Now, what we do have to be aware of is that we don't get into the full reversal, go the opposite end of the spectrum of going full all out all the time, which most of us have gotten into. That's where we are right now. That's how we got our late life diagnosis. So we got to find a balance. But the balance has to be right for you, not only right for everyone else. And don't change the way you are. Now you know how to communicate. My daughter now knows how to communicate. I'm sorry, I cannot do this slowly. I have to get it done quick if I want to stay interested. If I don't do anything over the next few hours, I'm going to feel bad about myself and I'm going to have all this pent up energy and I'm bored. That's when my impulsivity shows up. I tease, I bug, my impulsivity mouth runs off. I know all that now. My daughter knows that, and now she has permission to be okay not to not do something. By understanding your ADHD, you're able to communicate to people, and the people who get you and will understand you and want to understand you will get it. And they might even change their ways, or might say, hey, okay, now it makes sense. Maybe I can help support you on it. By communicating this understanding yourself to others, the right people will follow suit and the right people will support you. And that's why I really loved that conversation that afternoon about that question, because it got me thinking. Honestly, I really love it when my kids ask me questions. It makes me really think things. And I was getting in the trap of doing too much I was getting in the trap of thinking people are thinking I'm doing too much and I should be doing less so I can fit in. And with that conversation, she reminded me that, no, this is how I am. I come in, I do 8 hours. I do the equivalent of 14, 16 hours everyone else. I'm in, I'm out. I take extra days off. You know why? Because I do things a lot quicker. And when I'm at it hard. I don't take a break. I should, probably. A lot of science behind that. But why am I going to interrupt myself if I'm in a good flow? And if I can go home every weekend and be home present because I are quote unquote overwork compared to what other people think, then I can be home and be present. So I hope this resonates with you or this makes sense to you. And, every once in a while we do need a day just to do nothing, because it's actually it's an early stage of burnout, or our brains are just done, and maybe physically our body doesn't want to move anything. But all in all, it's okay to always be active. It's always okay to be doing something, or that need is a need for a reason. Don't fight it. Don't bury it. Don't be ashamed of it. You know how to communicate. You know how to advocate for yourself about it. The right people will understand. Thanks again for listening, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Impulsive Thinker podcast. If you enjoyed it, subscribe, rate, and review the show. It helps us get discovered by listeners like you. If you can share it with at least 2 other people, that would be greatly appreciated. I want to gift you the Shit List. It's a weekly planning tool that I developed to plan my week and focus my time. You can find it at our website at tacticalbts.com. That is tacticalbts.com. Talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Impulsive Thinker podcast. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion for the show, please visit theimpulsivethinker.com. The Impulsive Thinker podcast is produced by Tactical Breakthroughs and hosted by André. Remember, ADHD is only a part of you, not all of you.